Oh, dearie
So
me.
he's had his sack in more way than one.
That's not very good.
No.
Have we got, to lighten the mood, your random questions?
Oh, you want some random questions? Okay.
Yeah, let's go with those.
Okay, right, Tim.
I'm depressed now. I don't want to talk about
it. Tim.
Hello.
The listeners are dying to know, did you ever have a paper round?
I didn't. My brother had one.
Did he?
Which he liked to tell us at a young age how, amazing he was that he had a paper round. I remember playing Paperboy on the Mega Drive, if that counts.
I had that on the Spectrum. I loved Paperboy.
I've had a lot of really rubbish jobs in my time around that sort of age of Paperboy. I worked in a petrol station. I worked in a supermarket, in the delicatessen and all sorts of things. Not that I'm saying they're rubbish jobs,
no,
but I was rubbish at them, so that was the problem, I think.
So, your brother then, was he older or younger than you?
He's older, yeah.
Older, yeah, right. Yeah. So he was flaunting his paper money.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed a paper round. My nan refused to let my mum let me have a paper round because I'd get kidnapped, apparently. that's what she thought. She was obsessed about me getting abducted. I don't think anyone would have wanted me, to be honest, but there we go.
Yeah, they want the
Ring up an hour later, so can you have a bath, please? We'll pay you.
Yeah. Here's yesterday's paper as well. I didn't do yesterday. Have you ever pretended to be someone else on the phone?
No. There was a bit of a prank at work where we had one guy, one old teacher that doesn't work there anymore, decided to ring up and pretend to be the Duke of somewhere and got put straight through to the boss, which was quite funny. But then, yeah,
because didn't that disastrously backfire when
the Queen, pretending to be the Queen when they rang up for the that was horrible, wasn't it?
Absolutely
for
horrible.
Kate and Wills, wasn't it? Yeah, that was horrible. The poor lady.
Yeah.
What a shame.
You're bringing it down again now.
Yeah, David again. We could have left it at that, couldn't we?
No. Who's the most famous person you've been photographed with?
Well, we were talking about Loudon Wainwright before. Was that on air or off air? I can't remember.
No, we were on air.
We're on air. Yeah. I just sort of went and got him to sign my CD and stuff, and there's a great picture of me looking really overexcited and him not at all.
Next.
I sort of run to the car as well in the torrential rain, so I'm sat there looking like a drowned rat with a stupid smile on my face, and he's sort of thinking, who is this person next to me? But Tony Hart once walked past me in the street,
really?
Which I always say that I met him, which doesn't really count as meeting someone.
That one.
Yeah. But that's about as...
Okay, that's
how about yourself?
You brush with fame. Oh my lord.
I met the Chuckle Brothers.
Probably.
Oh, amazing.
Butlins.
I was probably making a fool of myself waving behind John McCririck.
Who's that?
The guy with the glasses and the woolly hat who did the racing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The one who does the hand gestures as
male
well.
chauvinist. But, I was probably waving like an idiot behind him. That's probably the closest I've got to anybody.
Who else famous? Tom Stade. Have you heard of the comedian Tom Stade?
No, who's that?
He's so funny. He's been on, I'm sure he's been on the Apollo and stuff. He's live at the Apollo and whatever. But he came to Nantwich and did a gig at the Civic, the Nantwich comedy festival or whatever it is. And we bought him a pint after the gig because we're just in awe of him. We love him, and he's a great Canadian comedian. And we bought him this pint, and the bouncers were trying to kick us out. He's like, "No, let him stay." They just bought me a drink, so we were sat and having a chat. And then he ended up coming to Greg's with us randomly, which is now the studio, because we bought him a pint, and it was the funniest evening of our lives because he's just funny, one thing after another. He was very drunk.
I think that counts a lot more than ours, really. Like,
I think it's
standing by someone doesn't really count as me.
Waving in the back.
The only problem is probably 90% of the population haven't heard of your guy.
Oh, you should look him up though. He's very funny.
Whereas ours are all A-listers. Chuckle Brothers.
Tim, did Loudon Wainwright record the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald? Or was it somebody else?
I'm not sure.
Oh, we'll have to look that up.
Yeah, look, that's one for Google. That. Yeah.
Right, where are we up to? Do you think X Factor should come back next year?
I think it's got its place. It's not something I particularly enjoy myself. I think it's got its place. The thing that worries me is when the big business. I mean, big business has always been in music, obviously, and there's always been that side of things. And I'm a big fan of cheesy pop as well as the more serious stuff. But what I think the problem is when new stuff can't get through, or record companies don't take risks on things.
Yeah.
So that, like, I mean, my music's pretty, accessible and stuff, but there's a lot of really interesting music out there that I see at gigs and things. Like a friend of mine's band, I'll just plug, called the Madding Crowd, who are amazing, Manchester band. But there's people out there making really interesting music, and I don't think people are taking a risk on them because
no, it's hard
because of the sort of X Factor type thing.
Okay.
So
I
it's got its place, but.
Yeah. And I suppose the $64,000 question: would you go on it?
No, I don't think I'd be brave enough, to be honest. I think they're very brave, the people who go on that, because, again, I think, like we were talking before about music, it's something that you have to have a go at and gradually get better. And I think a lot of people go on there when they're just starting out and they get ridiculed, and that puts them off making music.
Quite like this year because it's two in the over category who are the finalists.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So I quite like that because you know that a lot of them have tried and just not had the break, and I like it when it's them. But you know when they have 15, 16-year-olds going, "I've wanted it all my life," and no, you've wanted it last year since you watched it on the telly. It drives me potty. That does.
That's pretty good. You've done all right up to now. The final question is surrounds biscuits.
Right. The important question.
It's probably the best question of the day. You've got a choice of 3.
Okay.
Oh, you've got 3. You normally only have 2.
Yeah, I thought I'd put another one in.
Have you
now.
got the 3 with you, though? Do I get to choose them in real life?
Absolutely not, Tim, no. Custard creams.
Right.
Bourbon creams.
Okay.
Or Oreos.
Ooh. None of them, I would say, was my favourite.
None of them. We'll have to put a new category in none.
I'll probably go for bourbon, I think, out of those.
Okay. What's
choice.
your favourite
What were
one?
yours?
Oh, bourbon every
Bourbon,
time.
yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I can't eat them. Sob story, get my violins out again. I can't.
Cool.
eat them. I have a gluten intolerance and I can't eat anything with
right.
flour in, so I have to eat gluten-free alternatives that taste like sand. It's not nice.
I was going to ask how they taste. Yeah,
Not as good as a nice old bourbon biscuit. It's a shame.
No.
Should we play another song now?
That'll be a good idea.
We have got, funnily enough, we've got Radio Nowhere by Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Surprise, we've not heard that for a while.
Is that one of your favourite tunes?
Possibly,
Tess?
quite possibly. And then